Linda Sousa here from lindasousa.com, enjoying the journey. And today I want to share with you a little tip on beets. We love beets. They're so good. They're good for your iron. They're just, if you like beets, you like beets. Some people like them, some people don't. And there's so many different ways that you can make them. When I first started making beets myself, I would just boil them and then peel them, slice them up, put them in the fridge. Sometimes I might add a little bit of, red wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar, toss just to give it a little bit of acidity to it. And they just taste so good, almost kind of like a pickled beet. But I really prefer to roast them. So what I have is actually this is an old baking pan that was my mom's. God rest her beautiful soul. And I just use it. I use it all the time. I have this one and a smaller one, and I do a lot of stuff with it. But I always cover it in foil because I would never cook directly on it. It is way too old, and everything is like peeling and chipping from it. But what I want to do is I want to kind of make a little bed for my beets. Some people will put a little olive oil around them. I don't like it. I think it makes it way too greasy, and I don't think it needs it. So I just take the beets. It's really incredibly simple to make. Just take them, as I'm doing here, and I kind of make a little pocket. So this is not big enough to cover the whole thing, so that means I need to make a bigger one to go around it to cover it. And I just want to get the beets all in here because I kind of want them to steam on themselves. So I'm going to take that out and get another piece to wrap the opposite way to cover it. And then I put it in the oven and I'm going to let them cook. And then I just kind of judge when it's ready. I'm not sure, depending upon the size of beets, it'll take, it takes obviously much longer to cook beets that are as big as this than a batch of smaller ones. But there we go. I like to kind of make a tent, which is what I had intended, but I cut that piece too small. Almost like you do when you're steaming or you're poaching some fish. So there we go. And what you need to make sure you do when you go to check them, when you open that up, that steam comes right out. You've got to be very careful. Keep it away from your face. Watch your hands. Use oven mitts or use utensils to open it if you need to. But then what I'll do, I'm going to put them in the oven. I'm going to let them cook. Periodically, I might go in and might check, see if they're a little tender. I may take a fork or a knife and open this up a little is what I'll do. I'll show you what I would do as it was cooking in the oven. I would open it up, and where I've got that little opening there, and I'm obviously very careful of that steam, and then I would take either a knife or a fork, and I would just pierce one of the beets to see if the knife or the fork will go in. If it does, then obviously it's cooked. If it's still too hard, then it's not ready yet. And it's really, it's that simple. Then when they come out, I usually let them cool a little, but I still handle them while they're warm. And then I'll get the back of a butter knife or even the side of a fork, and I just peel the skin right off, cut the tail off, cut the top off. And you can leave them whole, you can slice them, and then put them in a nice airtight container and put them in the fridge. But if there is time, once they're cooked, I'll come back and do a quick video to tie this one up and show you exactly how I do it. Thanks. Hello there. So the beets have come out of the oven. And of course I let them cool. While they were in the oven, I left them in probably, I want to say, for close to an hour because these are pretty big beets. I went in once, close to the end of that hour, and very, very carefully opened it up, and all the steam comes up and out. And then I took a fork, and I'm going to show you what I did. Actually, you can see some of the steam still coming out now, but it's nowhere near as dangerous as it was when I first went in. As you can see, all that steam is releasing. I just took a fork, and it went right in. So I know that these are done. They are not that hot to handle right now. Although they are, the water, the juice that's come down at the bottom, it is pretty hot. So now, the way I prepare them, very simple. And what I did here, because I'm not at the sink, where normally if I wasn't videoing, I probably would do this at the sink with a bowl of water in the sink. I've just got a bowl of some water here because I need something to cool my hands off when they get a little too warm. And it also helps with this. See how that comes right off? I'm taking, actually I should be using the you want to use a butter knife and the non-sharp end of the butter knife. Obviously be careful for your hands. And you can see how when they're still warm, it just comes right off. And these are just roasted beets. And John and I love beets. And now it's starting to get a little warm to my hand, so I'm actually going to just put my hand in there and cool it down. I could put the beet in there and cool that down if I wanted to. But it's easier sometimes to get the skin off if the beet is warm. So I've got most of it off. Now I want to rinse that beet. And then I'm going to take off the top. Just going to slice that. And the very tip of the bottom. And what I didn't get, but I'm going to use right now, is another bowl to put my completed beets in. When I'm done all of these, I will, let me just rinse my hand off, because I'm thinking that I'm going to be having purple hands for the rest of my dishes that I'm going to be making today. But once all of these are done, I'll put them in here. I can do one of two things. I can deal with them now. I can deal with them later. I can just put them in a bowl, leave them in the fridge, whole just like this. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them and I'm going to slice them and put them in. I love these glass. I have a larger one. So I'll do a glass bowl with the cover, have them all ready in the fridge. I'm probably not going to treat them with anything, but I might make a small side dish and put a little bit of apple cider vinegar or some red wine vinegar in that, and you know, a little bit of salt, and it makes it almost like pickled beets. It's delicious, and I love eating them just like that. They're great. When on the 3-day refresh, this is one of my go-to suppers. It's just beets, or even for lunch. Really, really good. And as you can see, really simple to do, really simple to peel. You can use this. You can actually use a fork if you want to, just to peel it. But once you've roasted them, that skin just comes right off, and they're delicious. So this, my friends, is roasted beets.